Today we're going to walk through the mechanic's view for DVIR. I'll show you how the information is organized, what the mechanic can do with it, and how to see a summary of your overall DVIR progress. First, I'll show you how I got here. DVIR is located under our left-hand navigation, Reporting, DVIR. Here you'll see a list of DVIRs. At the moment, we're seeing everything for the last 30 days because that's what I have the filters set to, 30 days and total. This could be changed depending upon what your mechanics want to see. They could pick either a shorter or a longer time frame, or they could focus these lists on the different statuses that a DVIR could be in. Complete being DVIRs that had either no issues or all of the issues have been addressed and it's been signed off by both the mechanic and the driver. Mechanic signed are DVIRs that have been signed by a mechanic. Needs action are DVIRs that have been submitted that require mechanic attention due to any issues that they might have. And in progress are DVIRs that have been started by a driver but have not yet been officially submitted. These lists can also be updated live by clicking on the Refresh Automatically toggle. And Reset View here will reset any of your column organizations back to the default view if needed. Finally, on the top left here, we have a search, so if you want to narrow it down to a specific truck, you can. So I'm going to move over to the In Progress section where we see a DVIR for truck 1608, and I happen to have the tablet for that, so I'm going to submit that DVIR right now. Okay, I've submitted it, and I'm going to hit refresh because the refresh automatically happens every 30 seconds. I didn't really feel like waiting there. And we see now that there's been a DVIR submitted and added to the Needs Action section. Before I dive into the new DVIR, I want to talk about the list real quick. You'll notice that the grid view has a simple summary of each DVIR. Most of the information here is pretty self-explanatory: truck, trailer, when it was submitted, its general condition. But I want to talk about priority because that's not exactly self-explanatory. This column here will reflect the highest priority issue that any of these reports have. This will allow your mechanics to potentially organize their lists so they could attack the highest priority issues first. As you can see, all of my reports are at a medium priority. But as an example, let's say we wanted to change the priority of batteries. I'll come in here and I'll say that it is now a high priority. I'll hit save. And if I refresh the page and head back over to reports, we'll see now that the columns have been updated so that some of these reports are now actually a high priority and probably should be looked at right away. Now let's dive into the newly submitted report. Clicking on the row will expand it and show all of the information about the DVIR. In the first section here, we have a general overview, which include things like the condition, the current location, who submitted it and when, and a section for driver signature, which this one hasn't been signed because it was just submitted. It will also have general driver remarks. Below that is the mechanic sign-off section and any mechanic notes. After that, we have the list of tests that were performed and the list of measurements taken, as well as a list of any defective components. As you can see, it passed all the tests and the measurements look fine, but there is one problem with the airlines where the driver said there's a small leak. So, what can the mechanic do at this point? Let's say they worked on the issue with the airlines and they want to let the driver know that the work has been done. They could do that by clicking on status here on the right side and choosing either safe to operate or not safe to operate. We're going to say that they just patched the airline and they consider it safe to operate, so we'll click on that. But they do want to note that it's just a patch and is going to need replacement, so we'll put that in the mechanic remarks. Now that all the work's been done on it, the mechanic will want to sign off on the DVIR. On the left side here, there's the sign link. If they click on it, they'll be given this pop-up. Mechanic signature is a drop down here. If the mechanic is a mechanic supervisor, they'll have a choice of multiple names and they can choose whoever did the work. If you're not a mechanic supervisor, it'll just be their name. I'm going to click on Christopher Wendell here, who did the work. The time of the signature is automatically filled out for them, and they can put in any general notes that they want. So let's say they want to just really emphasize that the airline needs replacement. They could do that. Now, they can save without signing if they'd like to. Let's say they're in the middle of work and they haven't actually finished the DVIR, so they don't want to sign off on it. They could choose that. But for this case, since the work is all done, we're going to click on Sign Off. Great. And now we'll see if we go into the mechanic signed section that our DVIR is still in there, 10 mechanics signed. Now, I'm going to take it even a step further, and on my tablet, I'm going to log in, and my driver will be presented with the DVIR, and I'm just going to sign off on it right away. At that point, we should see it go from mechanic signed and into the complete section. I'm going to hit refresh here just to see that it goes from 33 to 34 complete. Here's our DVIR with all of our notes. It's got the patch, it needs replacement. Everything looks good here. Now that we've seen an example of what mechanics can do, let's take a real quick look at the overview screen. The screen is pretty simple, and it's a breakdown of your DVIR response by plant. I don't have that many here, but it should give you a good idea of what yours will look like. It'll tell you information like average turnaround time from when the driver submits it to when the mechanic deals with the issues, as well as how many of your DVIRs that needed attention were signed off during the time period that you have selected. And you could change that time period so you could get a better idea of how your mechanics performed during certain periods. That was the walkthrough for the mechanics view for Digital Fleet's DVIR. I showed you how the information was organized, what the mechanic can do with the DVIR, and how to see a summary of your overall DVIR progress by plant. This video is part of a series on our DVIR product, so check out our other videos to find out more information on how to best utilize DVIR from Digital Fleet. Also be sure to check out our other videos for great information on all that Digital Fleet offers. Thanks for watching.